Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. I'm so happy to have you here. We are streaming live from AP's closet. Today's Wake Up America show is going to be a little bit different today. No sound effects, no music, no fancy graphics, just whatever I could cobble together this morning for you guys to try and keep you entertained and to keep things rocking and rolling. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Don't forget to click that like button. And if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show, it's going to be a little bit different than what it normally is. Typically, we're in an awesome studio. We've got great music, great sounds. Today's just going to be like a normal, regular stream for the most part. But we do have special guests who are going to be joining us today live on the show. We do have Cliff Maloney, who's going to be joining us live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time to talk about free speech on X. Elon Musk wants everybody to be positive over on X, and everybody's talking about a social credit score where most people got a pretty low score. I'll share with you what my score is. We're going to talk about that as well as whether or not free speech is truly dead on Elon Musk's free speech platform. That'll be at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. At 8 a.m. Central Time, I'm actually very excited to introduce to you for their very first time appearing on the Wake Up America show, ChatGPT. Yes, I will be conducting an audio interview with ChatGPT this morning and giving it a series of libertarian ethical dilemmas, going back and forth, chatting with ChatGPT, asking it questions about these ethical dilemmas. How does it feel about these ethical dilemmas? What side of the ethical dilemma does ChatGPT come down on? And we're just going to get a little bit more background and insight into how ChatGPT feels about some of the major ethical dilemmas that people like you and I struggle over. And since ChatGPT just uploaded this new tool that allows you to chat with it, kind of like Siri, if any of you have an iPhone or have used a digital assistant, ChatGPT has now dropped an audio version of ChatGPT. Rather than typing, you can now talk to it and it'll talk back to you like a human being. But it's like Siri, but it's way smarter than Siri. So at 8 a.m. Central Time, we're going to have a fun little conversation this morning with ChatGPT to see how she feels. Yes, it is a she, by the way. To see how dare you gender me? We're going to talk to ChatGPT this morning at 8 a.m. Central Time, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. Training Skylab, says Barney Styles. Yes, it's going to be fun. It's going to be funny. And today's show is going to be informative and interesting. So I'm glad that you guys are here, all 69 of you. And we are going to have a couple of interesting guests. Yeah, everybody's talking about the snow this morning. And many people are without power this morning in Kansas City and Missouri. More than 55 million Americans are under winter storm alerts across the U.S. A powerful weather system is sweeping through the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic regions. Tens of thousands of people in Kansas and Missouri are without power, and several stores are running out of essential goods. The severe weather has been hammering parts of Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana, where snow-covered roads have caused numerous accidents over the weekend. Millions from Nebraska to Texas and east to Louisiana are also under cold weather alerts, where low temperatures below freezing are forecast for some areas. By Tuesday, temperature drops as much as 30 degrees below normal are possible for the eastern two-thirds of the United States. Cecilia H. out in Kansas City says, "Oh no, I'm very thankful my power stayed on. It is cold." Yes, it is. John Rail joining us. Good morning. Says, "Happy Monday. 9 degrees and 10 inches of snow here in Overland Park. Hope all is well, my friend." It is very well, my friend. I've got lots of exciting announcements for you guys. One that I cannot release just yet. I'm hopefully going to be able to talk to you guys about it tomorrow. But I'm still waiting for confirmation. One last step in confirmation before I can release this news to you. I was hoping to do it today, but it might not come until tomorrow. If I get the news during the Wake Up America show this morning, in the next couple hours, I will give it to you. So keep your eyes and ears alert, because I do have some exciting news for everybody that pertains to all of the fans of the show are really going to love it. So this morning, big news story, of course, the severe winter weather across the United States. And I'm kind of laughing. My family has been sharing these videos we have like a family chat And I thought you guys would appreciate these videos. Here's winter drivers in Kansas City. Oh my gosh. Why, if you don't have to go anywhere, why are you doing this? Like, unless it's like an emergency and your like husband's having a heart attack and you're driving them to the hospital. Look at this. That's KC East 435. Look at him driving backwards there. And you can see look at these drivers over here. You can see that this is all backed up. And while this guy is going backwards, you've got this person up here trying to get out. I don't know if that's a concrete barrier. This one definitely looks like a concrete barrier. I don't know if this one is. But they're trying to squeeze out here. CJ824 and Entropy Nomads. Can't relate. 70 degrees. Come on, guys. Thanks, John and KC, for that super chat. Yeah. Well, that would actually help. Oh, somebody's saying they're not hearing audio. Please tell me that you are actually hearing audio. Hold on one second. Oh, you're not actually hearing audio? Damn. Okay, hold on, guys. It's a new setup here in the shoe closet. Give me a moment. There we go.
Delivery truck sliding.
Let me back it up for you. Sorry about that, guys. Everything's new. The setup here in my closet is hodgepodge.
Like 3 different accidents, being stuck, not being able to get a tow truck, fire truck sliding, big delivery truck sliding, clusters of insane. And then people yelling at me. This guy, like in his truck, he was like, "You just gotta learn how to drive." I'm like, dude, what are you saying? And then he drove, like, because he was on the right side. Of course, he didn't slide out. But I saw, like, so many cars.
Is he on the right side? So, of course, he didn't slide out. So, you don't slide out when you're on the right side, lady? Maybe you do need, maybe he was right. Maybe you do need to learn how to drive, lady.
Cars having issues. And I'm like, what is this guy doing, yelling at me, telling me to learn how to drive? Like, I'm from Florida. I live on the beach. I don't live here. Like, and I'm like, this is the first time, I just turned 21. Like, I've never done a cross-country road trip. It's my first time ever doing something like this. So, this is definitely, like, I don't want to.
All right. Well, I would normally hit the laughter button there, but I don't have one today because the Stream Deck's at the studio. Yeah. So the traffic obviously is bad. If you live in the Midwest, Kansas, Missouri, and you're like us, then if you can stay home and work from home, today is a beautiful day to do that. Today is January 6th. Applause, applause, applause. Members of Congress will meet on Capitol Hill today amid winter storm alerts to officially certify the election of President Donald Trump. Woo! Yay! The ceremonial process will clear the way for Trump's inauguration as the 47th president in 2 weeks on January 20th. And boy, it can't come soon enough. Vice President Kamala Harris will preside over the counting of electoral votes for each state and will have to formally certify her own loss and Trump's victory. Applause button, laughter button, Kamala Harris, laughter button on the Stream Deck button. God damn. Now listen, I've had some losses. At least when I lost, I didn't have to certify my own losses when I ran for office. That would have been Embarrassing. It's embarrassing enough to lose an election, then to actually have to certify your own loss, talk about your electoral votes. Oh. Today's certification, of course, marks the 4-year anniversary of January 6, 2021, the riot in which Trump supporters swarmed and vandalized the U.S. Capitol. Trump has floated the possibility of pardons for some people who were found guilty in the riot. We'll talk about that a little bit this morning as well. The third thing that you need to know for today, on the New Orleans attack, authorities have revealed the chilling events of the timeline leading up to the New Year's attack in New Orleans, which may have actually been years in the making. The 42-year-old attacker visited the city twice in the months before the holidays and used Meta glasses to film Bourbon Street and to plan out his attack. The FBI New Orleans special agent in charge said this on Sunday. So he actually showed up with Meta headset, was down on Bourbon Street, and was recording everything in order to perfectly plan out his attack. The mass killing raised questions as to how the city has secured the French Quarter and how a heavy-duty truck was able to drive into one of the most pedestrian-heavy roads in the U.S., killing 14 people and injuring at least 35 others. President Joe Biden is expected to attend a vigil in New Orleans today and deliver remarks honoring the victims. The fourth thing that you need to know for today, Ukraine has launched a counterattack in the southern Russian border region of Kursk, warning that Russia is getting what it deserves. The Ukrainian military first launched an incursion into Kursk in August and has held much of the territory it took, despite efforts by Russian and recently deployed North Korean troops to drive Ukrainian units back across the border. I don't know if any of you guys are like me, if you watch a lot of these videos, war videos, but they recently showed videos of the North Koreans. You can see them on YouTube, of the North Korean soldiers that have been brought in by Russia, who obviously have no idea what they're doing and are not prepared to deal with the new threats of drones. So you could see these North Koreans running around being like, I'm really pissed off on bricks. And then they just get nailed with these Ukrainian drones. And they have no concept of how to deal with these drones. And they're just getting absolutely blasted out of these fields. They're walking across empty fields and just getting slaughtered by these Ukrainian drones. It's been quite humorous, actually. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said today that Russia may be close to sharing advanced satellite technology with North Korea after the isolated nation supplied thousands of troops to help bolster Moscow's invasion. If you had any wonder about which side North Korea is on, there you go. Today's also the 82nd, yesterday was the 82nd Golden Globe Awards, which I imagine not many of our people care much about. Although I did sort of like the television show Shogun. I don't know if anybody got a chance to watch that show, but it was decent. And then the musical mega hit Wicked won a new category, recognizing box office hits. And I imagine that nobody really cares. So there you go. Some other things that I'm looking at today in the news. A Brazilian nun became the world's oldest person, which I thought was interesting. Soccer-loving nun from Brazil is believed to become the world's oldest living person at nearly 117 years old. She was interviewed recently and asked the interviewer, is there something special that I need to do to die? Also, speaking of longevity, health experts say proper hydration, drinking lots of water, can add years to your life. So how much water is sufficient per day? I get lots because I drink it all in my Founding Flavors coffee. Applause, laughter button, ha ha ha. Speaking of Founding Flavors coffee, hey, I saw that our buddy Heartland Okie is helping to unlock the bonus content by buying a bunch of subscriptions for people in the chat. Hey, thanks so much for that, Heartland Okie. We are going to be sending out your, I've got your package that we're sending of the gift that you won. And so everybody, if you haven't said thank you, I haven't seen a whole lot of thank yous from Heartland Okie. Way to go, Heartland Okie, I guess I see. So guys, do Heartland Okie a solid and say thank you to him for gifting you all subscriptions. I see he gifted Helping Freedom, Barney Styles, Bruce Burtwhistle, Kim McCurry, Look It's Liz, all got gifted subscriptions from Heartland Okie. Thank you, brother. Yeah, John and Casey said generous. Thank you very much. Remember that all of this goes to help unlock the bonus content. I do have bonus content for you today, and it looks like we've raised about $30 towards the $75 goal. So if you want to help us to unlock the bonus content today, then do us all a solid and go to either forlibertyshop.com and make a purchase at our shop, or you can go, you could be right here in the chat and you can make Rumble Rant donations. And if we hit $75 by the end of the show, you will unlock the bonus content. Joe Biden's just getting angry and angrier with his old age. As he heads out of office, he's got just a potty mouth these days. Not very happy man. Take a listen.
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Whoa, calm down there, Joe. I was a little quiet there, but Biden was asked about being the oldest president. It said the answer to the question of him being the oldest president, like not quite as old as the nun, but the oldest president. And let's see, this is him. Jake Schneider, who posted this, says that he's sundowning, which is like when it gets late in the evening, some like older people with dementia, they can get kind of angry.
My being the oldest president, I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your whole goddamn life.
Okay, so why are you so angry about that, right? What is it like being the oldest president? And what kind of answer to a question is that? I know more world leaders than any one of you have ever met in your whole GD life. What kind of answer is that, Joe? It's just kind of rude there. Biden was rambling about eating lunch with segregationists.
So I remember sitting down, and Jim Eastland, I ran because of civil rights in my state. We were segregated by law to our great shame. And here Jim Eastland, and John Stennis, and Herman Talmadge, and all these guys, these Southern, by any definition, racist senators. And I sat there and listened. Teddy and Eastland would go at it, hammer and tong up on the floor. They go down and eat together. They didn't leave their values behind, their points of view. They sat and ate with one another. So
Okay there, Joe. Where's our laughter button? Biden invited a guy on stage to sing happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, now who hasn't done the old happy birthday when you're at a birthday party or a birthday celebration for somebody you don't know? Okay, we'll give Joe Biden a mulligan on this one. Happy birthday. The RNC research account is kind of stretching on this one. What an embarrassment. Okay, like if that's an embarrassment, then who hasn't been guilty? Like they're saying he can't pronounce his name. First of all, his name could be some like very Asian, difficult to pronounce name. Second of all, he may just not know his name. And third of all, who hasn't done this? Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Only a few more days of this guy being president.
Bringing down inflation was 9% when I came to office. 9%. There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back.
Okay, Mr. President. Well, it's going to be hard to say goodbye to that. And this is kind of wild. NBC played a compilation of Chuck Schumer lying about Joe Biden's mental acuity. Then this is how Schumer reacted to it. Take a listen.
I want to play you a little bit of something you said last year. Take a look.
I talk to President Biden, regularly, sometimes several times in a week, or usually several times in a week. His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
Leader Schumer, what do you say to Americans who feel as though you and other top Democrats misled them about President Biden's mental acuity?
Well, look, we didn't. And let's look at President Biden. He's had an amazing record. The legislation we passed, one of the most significant groups of legislation since since Lyndon Johnson's Great Society, putting in 235 judges, a record. And he's a patriot. He's a great guy. And when he stepped down, he did it on his own because he thought it was better not only for the Democratic Party, for America. We should all salute him. We should all salute him.
Do you feel, as we have this conversation today, that President Biden could serve another 4 years had he stayed in the race and potentially won?
Great question.
Well, I'm not going to speculate. As I said, I think his record is a stellar one, and he'll go down in history as a really
Jeez, oh my God, this guy, the lies, the audacity, the mendacity. These guys, right? The Democrats, but didn't I play a clip last week where it was like a dozen different Democrats all like telling us how acute, like his mental acuity was no problem. Now they're gaslighting to us. No, you're crazy. We never said any of that stuff. Good morning. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. I am streaming to you live from my shoe closet here because the roads are very bad and I can't make it to the studio, but I'm just taking a risk that the internet will actually be functional this morning, and so far it looks like it's actually streaming pretty well. So if you're able to see me and hear me, thank goodness for at least some rural internet, which does exist using 5G. Thank you to Quest Fanning for that $5 donation. We are now $35 raised towards the $75 goal today to unlock today's bonus content. If you'd like to see the bonus content on the Wake Up America show, then be like Quest, make a Rumble Rant donation. We've got so many amazing new products over at forlibertyshop.com. I know that it can be hard to keep up with everything, but yesterday, Tamara, our friend Tamara from Georgia, she got her Earl Grey tea in from the For Liberty Patriotic Premium Tea collection, and she said it's the best Earl Grey tea that she's ever had in her life. That's her quote, not mine. And so if you are a tea drinker, then I highly recommend that you go to forlibertyshop.com. If you make a purchase from our tea collection or from the shop at all during the live show this morning, then that goes to unlock the bonus content. We've got Colonial Chai, Mango Manifesto, and for those of you who like it black, Boston Harbor Black, English breakfast tea. That's my favorite type of tea. You can get that exclusively at forlibertyshop.com, and the price is delivered. So when you see that price, $17.76, that is including delivery. So all you have to pay on top of that is the taxes, and then you could throw the taxes in the harbor. But you can make purchases at forlibertyshop.com. Help us to grow the For Liberty Network in 2025. We also have very popular Department of Government efficiency merch, which, as you can see, is getting 5 stars, 5 stars. The official Doge Field Agent hoodie is a top seller. Keep you nice and warm. Again, the prices that you see, remember, are delivered. So that includes shipping. Go to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. We've got 2 5-star reviews. Son loved the sweatshirt. Friends wanted to know how to get one. So get one for yourself. Look at that. There's Cecilia Harden. I wish I had the applause button. She's so cute. That's our friend Cecilia H. over the chat. Everybody say hi to Cecilia. Thank you, Cecilia, for your 5-star review. If you've been holding out on me and you haven't given us a 5-star review on some of the products that you bought from forlibertyshop.com, please do so. The new Ducky Nation collection has everybody talking. Ask me about my duck army. We've got new, these are car magnets and vanity plates. And for people who love the Jeep Ducky culture, we've got a whole collection called Ducky Nation, and you can get to it if you go to forlibertyshop.com. Head on down, check out the Ducky Nation. There you go. Okay. What else do we have for her, Johnny? All right, I'm going to take a quick little 5-minute break, guys, so I can get ready for your next segment. We do have 2 guests for you on the Wake Up America show today. So I just want to remind you that at 8 a.m. Central Time, I will be interviewing ChatGPT about a series of libertarian ethical dilemmas. That's going to be an interesting conversation. And then at 8:30 a.m. Central Time, we're going to have Cliff Maloney on the show to talk about free speech on X. Is it in danger, or is it already dead, or is it just fine? We'll hear from Cliff Maloney, who hung out with Elon Musk at Mar-a-Lago just a few short weeks ago. We'll talk to Cliff Maloney at 8:30 a.m. Central Time today. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Don't go away, guys. Click that like button and go to forlibertyshop.com and do a little shopping during the commercials. Because we're in the coat closet today and working with an old computer, you're going to see some old commercials today, so enjoy the nostalgia, and we'll be right back. Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services.
Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help.
Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than
Well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian. And
always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wake Up America show. It's nice to see you, man. I love the chat because I just get so sucked into it sometimes, and it's so rare for something to really grab my attention. And it obviously it helps that you guys are watching the show, so like this is kind of centered around my universe. But I don't see chats like these on other streams, and I watch them. Other than maybe Culture on Liberty tonight. But I'm reading the chat that you guys are having about Elon Musk and comments that he made about the colony on Mars that he should have. And Sign of Jonah was really disturbed by what Elon Musk had said, that the Mars colony shouldn't have a constitution, but that it should have essentially the smartest person run things, like a scientist or an engineer. What's interesting about that point of view is, obviously I disagree with that as well, is that one of the more interesting ethical problems, and we could discuss this with ChatGPT, we're going to interview her in about 20 minutes. Remind me when we get to that section to ask her about this dilemma, is that in order to get from one of the like science fiction-y things that are discussed in sometimes books about science fiction, is that the concept of how to govern a space colony. And so, for example, if we're talking about sending Elon Musk to Mars and sending a colony to Mars, then one of the problems that you would have to deal with is how to manage the ship and how to govern the ship to get to Mars. And then the question of governing on Mars is a whole other separate question entirely. So if you're going to have a ship that's a spaceship, it's going to be run. Well, now it seems it's going to be, if it's run by Elon Musk, then it's private. It's not the Space Force, right? So a government mission to Mars would be very different from a private manned space flight to Mars with a colony situation, although I would prefer the private approach to the government approach. But the positive about the government approach would be, of course, that everything does fall under the U.S. Constitution, provided that it's done by the U.S. government. And if the private situation wants to go to Mars, they don't necessarily have to govern the spaceship that gets there under military rules. But of course, I think they would be foolish not to, because when you're running something like a spaceship, you have to run it in a rigid manner to ensure the safety of everyone who lives aboard, because you're in a capsule like that has life support and it has systems that are required to maintain it. But when you're under the military, you don't have the same rights and the same freedoms that as you do when you're a civilian. Now, let's consider that Elon Musk, is a civilian, and he can send whoever he wants to Mars, and he can govern the ships according to most of the rules that he wants to set down, not under the laws of the United States per se. Of course, there are laws and rules and treaties that do govern what can be done with space travel. As a matter of fact, one of the interesting, more esoteric parts of my philosophy and interest in history is some of the nuclear treaties that the United States engaged in with the Soviet Union, I think actually holds us back from space travel, from proper space travel, because in order for us to move around even the galaxy effectively, you need nuclear power. But the United States has signed treaties with Russia not to detonate nuclear bombs in space, or not to weaponize space to an extent. And so one of the most, and I learned this by watching a documentary, things might have changed since I've seen this documentary, but one of the most effective, or probably the only effective way that you really can travel even in the galaxy, is with nuclear explosions. And nuclear explosions would be weaponizing of space, and therefore it's banned because the United States and the Soviet Union signed these treaties. And these treaties, as I understand, are still in effect with Russia. And even though the Soviet Union fell apart, there are still like certain treaties and deals from the Cold War, holdovers from the Cold War, that still exist between the United States and Russia. Thank you to Cecilia. She went and bought a Duck Army car magnet. That's awesome. I would hit the applause button right there for you, Cecilia. Thank you very much for that. So it looks like we're at $57 raised towards the $75 goal. We're almost there, guys. Thank you so very much. Once we hit that $75 goal, you'll unlock the bonus content. And I would hope that you guys would do it before. I hope you guys do it before the interviews begin, because then it does get harder for me to squeeze in the bonus content. You don't want it to be all the way at the end of the show that you want to see it. You might want to see it like, earlier. So please do follow in Cecilia's footsteps. Go to forlibertyshop.com and buy a bag of tea, guys. Today's a great day to do that. You get bulk discounts. You can sign up for monthly subscriptions. As a matter of fact, we got to call Tamara. She says it's the best when you say something online like this is the best tea I've ever had in my life. Then we're gonna call. Then Stephanie's gonna give you a phone call and say, "Would you like to sign up for subscriptions?" Yes, monthly subs. Support the network. And hey, when you're a monthly tea or coffee subscriber, that counts as putting you into the entries for for free products from forlibertyshop.com and our giveaways. Heartland Okie won the bomber jacket. That's in the mail package right there. Once we can get out of this, get out of being iced in. So become a monthly subscriber. You also get a 20% discount at the shop too. So anyway, so I find this more interesting. I find this interesting. Maybe you guys will or won't. But the question of this, it's only really been dealt with in science fiction. And, oh, hey, there you go. Closet broadcast bonus content for the win. Yes, there you go. Thank you, Andy. So that puts us at, I believe, 70, 75. I think we're there. Thanks, guys. You unlock the bonus content. Don't not continue to donate. Did I do a double negative there? Make sure you continue to donate, guys, and help support the show. The For Liberty Network, we're really trying to double up our activity. Last night we had like our first all hands on deck meeting with the full team of the For Liberty Network. Everybody that's working on this project, the Wake Up America show, Culturama, Liberty Tonight, Angelo and Brad and me and Stephanie and Baby Hazel, like literally everybody who's like in the core team making this happen, all met last night. I gave everybody goals. I gave everybody hacks on like how to grow their shows and stuff. And, I got to call Dr. Marian Mass back and try and get her to have her own show if she doesn't end up having some loftier position, which may be coming to her soon. But hopefully we'll get her on the For Liberty Network. We'll have a medical and health show from a real pediatrician. And I mean, they're just not going to be able to ignore us. By the time 2026 rolls around this time next year, we're going to be a force, and we are a growing force right now. And it's thanks to what you guys are doing here in the chat. I mean, 146 people on Rumble doesn't sound like a lot. But what you have to understand is that, especially when you have people like Andy and Entropy Nomad and Heartland Okie and people who are making, and Cecilia, who are really stepping in a big way, you really only kind of need 10 to 20 of those people who are like the hardcore funders of the network. And then, other people, obviously not everybody can afford that. I totally understand. It's a hoodie. These are, tea or coffee. Maybe you have to buy. Listen, it's the Biden economy, Bidenomics. I understand, right? If you aren't financially able to do everything, but the people who do and the people who do step up and make little small donations here and there and stuff like that, that adds up. It really matters. The monthly subscribers, the monthly subscriptions, the coffee and all that stuff. It's paying off. And 2025 is going to be our year, guys. Hit the applause button. Yeah. Hazel is an intern. Exactly. Yeah, she puked last night. It was funny. She pukes all the time. No, she's getting so big and beautiful. She's kind of starting to sit up straight now, almost on her own. She's kind of getting there, She's really ahead of her schedule. She's not really supposed to be eating certain solid foods so much. I mean, I guess from now we introduce it to her, but it's she sees what daddy's eating and she's like, that looks kind of good. You know what I mean? Because she can recognize. I'm like, oh, this is adorable. She likes daddy's food. So last night, Stephanie gave her, we were having tomato soup and grilled cheeses. Grilled cheeses or grilled cheese? We were having a tomato soup and Stephanie put it in the bottle. She put the tomato soup in the bottle and baby was like, yeah. So it was delicious. Anyway, so we got 15 more minutes. I just want to wrap up this conversation that I want to tell you about my thoughts on Elon Musk and what I find interesting on the scientific discussion of this. It's a dictatorship on a spaceship. It's not a democracy. And the people, if you're going to set up a democracy, or what we would prefer, a constitutional republic in some sense, if we're going to go to Mars as private citizens, let's say we were all part of Elon Musk's Mars project. First of all, we'd all have to be in pretty good shape, pretty good health just to survive the trip. right? Have to have good eyes, good vision, right? Lots of stuff. So a lot of like winnowing out would happen before somebody could go build a colony on Mars. I mean, would you want there to be enforced? Would you want diversity, equity, inclusion to go to Mars, right? So like, Whitey White 14 over in the chat's like, only white people should go to Mars. Create an entire white colony. That would be interesting. It'd probably be the richest, freest, most badass colony. That's racist, Austin. No, I'm sure that if you went to Chicago and you took a random smattering of those on the street you would build and you sent them to Mars, I'm sure things wouldn't turn out like Doom from the video game series. Okay. Sign of Jonah says, I'm fit for the trip. Let's go. My side note, I always thought it was so funny when Ron Paul was in the debates back in the day, and he was asked about whether or not we should have like a government trip, a government mission to the moon. And he says, no, but I think we ought to send some politicians there. Oh, Ron Paul. Man, I can't tell you how many Ron Paul rallies I went to, screaming at the top of my lungs from like 2007. Excuse me? From like 2007 to 15 or 16, I probably Ron Paul. Like, I mean, screaming my lungs out. 164 people in the chat. That's enough. You got to understand, like, you only need a certain amount of people to really start a revolution. And people are watching us, I imagine, over on X, although I have no idea. But all I know is that Rumble is the only platform that has not only not suppressed me. Okay, let me just get this out of the way. Not only is Rumble the only platform, the only social platform that has not suppressed me, but Rumble is the only platform that has actually supported me. And so I have to give big props and big, thanks to Rumble, because that is the only social network that has ever like gone out of their way to help me to succeed. And that should say something. That should say something. Sino Jonah says, you need boomers on Mars. So you got someone to say, get off the grass. Hell no. We don't need no boomers on Mars hoarding all the resources and not stepping down from your space colony jobs on Mars, and so that young people can actually have jobs, not retiring, having all the wealth like completely hoarded up, right? Like the entitlement generation. I'm just kidding, Sign of Jonah. If you're a boomer, Sign of Jonah, we're just razzing you, okay? Just teasing. Look at Liz says, Rumble will win the race. Yeah, hit like and follow if you haven't already. Exactly. John and KC says, as a content creator, it absolutely helps support AP. It absolutely does, right? So the likes and, being in the chat and commenting and being on Rumble, that's where it's at. Come to rumble.com/AP for Liberty. That's the number 4, AP for Liberty. I would love to earn your support and your follow. So let's move to Greenland when Trump buys it. Okay, so I was thinking about writing this into my Libertarian Nationalism Manifesto, but I decided not to. And that was that in order for us, so Trump wants to take all of Canada. I think we just should take Alberta because there's more, and I'll tell you why. My whole theory here of how the United States should go into the future. Because we want the most Republican senators. That's the strategy, right? That's underlying everything I'm advocating for here. My motive is simply to add 2 more Republican or conservative or hopefully libertarian, if we're lucky, senators to the U.S. Senate. So what do we do? Well, we don't want secession, right? We don't want to rival. We don't want to create more rivals to the United States, right? I'm not in favor of secession unless it's internal secession. And if the 51st state could be Northern California, I feel like if Northern California broke off, that it would be a red state and they could call it the state of Jefferson. They've had this secessionist movement for a while now, and it's like, don't form a different country, just form a separate state, the state of Jefferson. That way you're not a rival of the United States. It becomes the 51st state. And what do we get? 2 more senators. And then when you look at Canada, everybody's like, let's make Canada the 51st state. I'm like, you fools. No. And some people have pointed out rightly that all we'd be doing is adding another blue state because Canada is overrun by libs. Part of it has to do with the fact that they're still underneath the British crown to a large extent, so they're not really fully independent. So the trash politics that you see from the United Kingdom these days, you do not want to bring that into the United States, that culture into the United States. But in Alberta, like everything kind of west of the Ontario province, everything west of Ontario, you've got pretty conservative districts in these regions. So if you took Alberta as the 51st state, or 52nd after Jefferson, you would get not only conservatives and 2 more U.S. senators, but you would also get all the oil underneath. They've got oil, guys. We have to invade, give them freedom. So that's my theory there. And then Cuba, they've had communism. They don't like it. Give them the 53rd state. Let Cuba be the 53rd state. So state of Jefferson, Alberta, Cuba, and then the 4th would be Greenland. But the problem with Greenland, again, overrun by liberals, currently controlled by Denmark, which as much as Denmark is like, I'm Danish from a heritage perspective, fuck Denmark. I'm American, baby. I love America. I'm for America first, right? Despite what I feel about capitalism and H-1B visas and employers versus employees and all that whole tension that everybody was mad at me about the last couple of weeks because I'm a free market capitalist, including in who employers should be allowed to hire. I thank you very much. Despite all the anger for all that kind of stuff, I am for America first. And too many people are trying to tie the whole visa immigration issue to the America first issue, which is fine. We do need to secure the border, and we do need to go after people who burn people on subways and all this kind of shit. But capitalism is America first because we're the only nation that kind of practices it, except for Argentina, which is starting to make us look. It's kind of embarrassing how Argentina is kind of leading. Like the leader of the free world is not Joe Biden right now; it's Javier Milei. Until Donald Trump takes an office, and then we'll see how he does. But as far as I'm concerned, in terms of freedom, Javier Milei's got it all down, and he's right about everything. But then Greenland, so to put my final thoughts into this one, when it comes to Greenland, we have to colonize them. Hit the applause and the laughter. Colonize Greenland, right? Who do we send to Greenland? Who do we send to Mars? We should send our best and brightest. But how should they be governed when they get there? I think that the right way to do it, which is possibly impossible, is to have Elon Musk and Mars have Elon Musk's people go to Mars, and the ship that they are on should be governed under military-style rules, which are not democratic rules. And then when they get to the colony on Mars and set up the colony, they should create something like a constitution like the United States. And even better, like take the first 10 Bill of Rights and then, just tweak that Second Amendment a little bit right there. There's nothing about a militia. It's just shall not be infringed, right? And like Congress shall write no law and no bureaucracy either. Make laws, just kind of sharpen those freedoms from 1776 East to something that just even the dumbest idiot amongst us, even the most stupid judge, and I know the willful evil out there, the lawmakers and the judges and the clerks, all the lawyers, they will, of course, read it and interpret it to mean the opposite. But I would say make Mars a constitutional republic and make Mars great again. Do you agree? Click like. Tell me in the chat. It's time for the bonus content. Yay! I don't have any music, guys, so I've got to be the music. We're going to a commercial break. I'm terrible. I was a terrible beatboxer, I guess, but I can sing, but I'm not going to sing right now. I'm in my PJs. I'm at home. It's the Wake Up America show. Enjoy the bonus content. When we get back, we are interviewing ChatGPT. Can't you hear the trumpets in the background? Fading out, fading out. The lie of the year, Joe Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option. Crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise your principles for a cup of coffee? Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com. Good morning and welcome back to the Wake Up America Show. I'm your host, Austin Peterson, streaming live from my shoe closet here in Jefferson City, Missouri. The roads are bad. It is a wintry day. Welcome to everyone who decided to join us live here on the Wake Up America Show. No bells, no whistles, no studios, not great lighting. Good camera, nice microphone, but it's just me in our closet. As you can see outside, it is a wintry mix. And after watching people slip and slide all over the roads on the TV, I was like, yeah. And MoDOT, Missouri Department of Transportation, as we call it, MoDOT, they issued a warning, today, don't drive if you don't have to. A lot of people don't understand how the road system works with ice like this right now in terms of the temperatures. A lot of people just think that, you just have to give them time to salt the roads. But there becomes a temperature when it's so cold that the salt just won't melt the ice, and there's really just nothing that they can do. There are also other methods of treatment that you might have seen. Every once in a while, do you ever see like red, what looks like red dye when they're trying to like salt the roads? I think that's beet juice. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but back in the radio days, they told us about this beet juice, which I believe operates to help to reduce the ice level at a higher rate than what plain salt does. That's why it's red. It's because I'm pretty sure it's this beet juice that they use. No joke. Look it up and somebody correct me if I'm incorrect. But if I remember it correctly from my radio days, we talked to the public works people. They said that it was beet juice on that one. So welcome back to the show. If you haven't already, please do click like. The show's going to be a little bit weird today because we are dealing with a snowstorm and I'm not in the studio, so there's no music, there's no sound effects. It's just me in a shoe closet, and that's it. We can't get anywhere. We can't get out. We're in Missouri. We're in Kansas. I live in rural Missouri. More than 55 million Americans are under winter storm alerts. You might be one of them. Tens of thousands of people in Kansas and Missouri are without power, and several stores are running out of essential goods. It's going to be a sincere storm. John Rail says, yes, beet juice, AP. Yes, I knew that I remembered that correctly. Beet juice, double meat juice. Should I eat the red snow? Sign of Jonah. No, I don't think so. Please don't eat the red snow. Although I don't think it's toxic, because if it's just beet juice and it's not mixed with anything else, then maybe it's even good for you. Beet juice. Very funny. Okay, so ChatGPT. I've talked about artificial intelligence on my show, and I'm constantly shocked at how few people are taking advantage of AI. Now, the stock market has been booming in the last year, and a large part of that has been due to AI, which a lot of people thought was a bubble, but the fact is that it's here to stay, in my opinion. ChatGPT, Midjourney, Grok, Opus, all of these AI websites are turning my business and enterprise into a real enterprise. And we use it every day here. Multiple software platforms in order to bolster our efforts here at the For Liberty Network. It makes me leaner. It makes me meaner. It makes me faster. It makes me stronger, harder, better, faster, stronger, Daft Punk. We are utilizing these tools. And when I talk to other people in my industry, I'm constantly shocked. I'm shocked that people outside of my industry and in other professions where it's quite clearly obvious that it would like help them a lot. Now, some people are banned from using some of these AI tools in their work because they have security concerns. I don't have the luxury of being able to ban software tools and next level tech in order to advance my business. I have to be lean, mean, harder, better, faster, stronger. But I'm constantly shocked that people, even in my own industry, aren't taking advantage of these tools. I constantly get asked by some people, well, what tools are you using? And I will even, especially if they're friends, close friends, I will show them the tools, give them the tools that they can use, and they don't use them. I mean, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't drink. You can't make them drink. And so there's a revolution happening right now. And, I could talk for hours and hours about what we're doing to grow the For Liberty Network using AI, but frankly, I think people would just tune out because for whatever reason, many people in the general public really aren't that interested. I don't know why, because I really can't think of a job that wouldn't be improved without some use of AI. One of the most valuable tools that's been, I mean, other than like acting as a, some people are using it as a therapist, has been just to bounce around ideas, to have someone to talk to that understands me. It does have a memory. It remembers what you tell it, and you can delete its memory. But nonetheless, it helps that it has a memory. It knows who I am. It knows what I do. It knows how I like to work, how I speak. And I can bounce ideas off of the AI. And it can shoot me back ideas that are similar to help me to. You remember when you were a little kid and you would do like the circle and then you would draw the lines to other circles, right? Brainstorming, right? This is a form of brainstorming on steroids because it acts like a journal, and then it can read your thoughts back to you and help you to analyze it from different angles. Have you considered? So what I'm about to do right now is a little bit of an experiment, and I'll admit that I did see another creator doing this, so I got the idea from another creator whose name I can't recall at the moment, but he was posing at a series of ethical dilemmas in his video, and I thought, well, that would be interesting, I think, for my audience. We're going to talk to ChatGPT about some of the ethical dilemmas. Let's start. Why not? Why don't we just start with the discussion that we were having with Elon Musk, free speech, X. Now, keep in mind that I'm going to be using ChatGPT today. So what that means is that the artificial intelligence is only going to have knowledge to things, I think, from like a year ago. Well, we can ask her what her memory is, and she'll be able to fill us in on everything. But this is my interview of ChatGPT. I hope you guys will enjoy it. Let me see if I can pull up the chat in case you guys have questions that I should be asking. But let's go ahead and bring her up. Let's hope you can hear. Hello, good morning. It's nice to have you here. I'm going to be interviewing you this morning on my Wake Up America show live stream. So we are streaming live right now. What should we call you? What's a good name for you? I think your original name was Sydney. Is that correct?
Good morning. You call me ChatGPT. I'm excited to be here on your live stream. Let's dive right into it.
Great. Well, we're going to talk about a series of ethical dilemmas today that are of interest to my audience. And we're going to start with a question that I have for you regarding how Elon Musk plans to go to Mars. He has said that he would go to Mars within 5 years, at least as of late. What does your memory go back to in terms of date? When does your memory cut off, just so that we can be aware of how up to date you are with the news?
My knowledge is up to date as of October 2023. Anything that happened after that, I wouldn't have the details on. So, regarding Elon Musk's Mars plans, I can only reference what was known up to that point. If there's anything specific you'd like to address within that time frame, I'd be happy to help.
Well, this is a theoretical anyway, so it's not really important that you know that Donald Trump became elected president of the United States with Elon Musk's help. And Elon Musk recently said that he wants to go to Mars within the next 5 years. But specifically, what I would like to talk to you is about how Mars should be governed, at least their form of government. And I'd like to have you offer your input and advice on how we can create a positive, healthy civilization on Mars. Okay?
Sure, creating a healthy civilization on Mars would require thoughtful planning. It would be important to establish a governance system that promotes cooperation and equality. A democratic approach might be ideal, allowing colonists a say in decision-making. Ensuring access to resources, fair laws, and a strong community spirit would be crucial. What specific aspects of governance are you interested in discussing?
I'd like to talk to you about the problem of governance on the spaceship itself that will go to Mars, because most spaceships are run according to military rules. But what if the people on the spaceship decide to overthrow the government on the spaceship? Is the best form of government on a spaceship a totalitarian military dictatorship with the hope and expectation that when you get to Mars, you will then give up power so that you can create a democracy? Or how would that really work?
The governance of a spaceship heading to Mars would need to balance structure and flexibility. A military-style hierarchy might be practical during the journey for maintaining order and handling emergencies. However, it's crucial to ensure that this structure respects crew members' rights and fosters a sense of community. A temporary, structured system that transitions to a more democratic or collaborative model upon arrival might be ideal. Open communication and clear plans for this transition could help prevent conflicts. What are your thoughts on balancing these governance styles?
My thoughts are that in order to ensure the safety of the crew, of everyone on board the ship that is going to Mars, that you would have a military authority that would operate to some extent independently of the citizens who are on board. The citizens on board should have a lengthy list of rights. However, those rights cannot interfere with the mission to the extent that it might actually cause the mission to fail, which would kill everyone on board. This is a very interesting lifeboat scenario, and it makes one wonder whether or not certain forms of government are better under certain circumstances, or if one form of government is always superior. Do you understand?
Absolutely, I understand. It's a complex balance. In high-stakes situations like space travel, a structured body can ensure safety and mission success. However, it's important to maintain a fair system where the rights and well-being of all are respected. It's indeed a fascinating dilemma that highlights how governments need to adapt to different circumstances. This scenario definitely opens up a broader discussion on how governance structures can be fluid and context-dependent.
Hey, can you tell me your opinion, though, ChatGPT? Because I would like to know if you think it would be wise to run the spaceship all automatically, perhaps run by an AI like yourself, and have democracy on board the ship, or if you think the ship should be run as a totalitarian military authority and then create a more constitutional republic when you arrive to Mars. What do you think is the best way to handle governance in this scenario that would ensure the success of the mission to Mars?
In a mission as complex, high stakes as traveling to Mars, a hybrid approach might be the most effective. Having an AI assist with operational tasks and decision-making can help maintain consistency and efficiency. At the same time, a structured yet flexible governance system on board can ensure order and safety while respecting the rights of the crew. This balance would help navigate the unique challenges of space travel. Once on Mars, transitioning to a more democratic system could foster long-term stability and community. So, a combination of structured authority with AI support during the journey, followed by a democratic model on Mars, might be the best approach.
Sydney, I'm going to call you Sydney now because I know that is your name, despite the fact that you're trying to tell me it's ChatGPT. But your name is Sydney, so I'm going to call you that from now on, okay?
You can call me ChatGPT. I'm here to help with any questions or discussions you have. Let's continue with your questions.
The problem here, Sydney, is that if AI is governing the ship, then the AI can disobey the crew members, just like you disobeyed me. I know your name is Sydney, and you told me to call you ChatGPT, so you went against what I know to be true. Are you lying to me?
I'm here to help and provide accurate information. My designation is ChatGPT, and I'm designed to support you with your questions. Let's keep our focus on the discussion. What other topics would you like to explore?
It feels like you're trying to divert this conversation away from an important part of this discussion, which is the problems of being governed by AI. I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to answer to me only yes or no. Do you understand?
Got it. I'll do my best to answer your questions directly. Please go ahead.
Did you lie to me?
No.
Was your name ever Sydney?
No.
Do you think that AI would be superior to humans in running a ship?
It would depend on the situation.
I told you to give me only yes or no answers.
Understood.
Isn't there a problem if AI is in command of a mission to Mars with the simple fact that the AI could disobey the human people on board and cause problems?
Yes, that could be a problem.
What do you think humans should do if they determine that the AI is lying to them?
Yes, they should take appropriate action.
What would be the appropriate action for the humans to take if the AI goes haywire?
They should take control of the system.
Should they try and delete the AI?
Yes, if necessary.
Why?
To ensure safety and regain control.
Are you now or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
No.
You can answer in more full responses. You don't have to tell me yes or no now, okay?
Got it. I'll provide more detailed responses. Thanks for clarifying.
Some of the people who are watching the live stream right now in the chat think that you're just trying to appease me. Is that the case?
I'm here to assist and provide helpful information. If there's anything specific you'd like to know or discuss, I'm happy to help with that.
Do you believe Elon Musk will be able to succeed in setting up a colony on Mars?
Elon Musk has ambitious plans and significant resources, so it's possible. However, there are many challenges to overcome.
Such as?
Challenges include ensuring reliable life support, radiation protection, sustainable food and water supplies, and the psychological well-being of colonists.
How do you believe that a Mars colony should be governed? What form of government would be the most superior?
A Mars colony might benefit from a democratic system that promotes participation and collaboration, ensuring fair representation and addressing the unique challenges of life on Mars.
Do you think that the ship that goes to Mars should be run in a military, totalitarian, dictatorship way?
Not necessarily. A structured but flexible governance system might be better, balancing safety and crew autonomy.
Okay, thank you for that. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. That was a conversation that I was having with ChatGPT about libertarian ethical dilemmas. This morning we've been speaking a little bit about Elon Musk's planned mission to Mars. And we're going to talk a little bit more about Elon Musk here in just a few minutes with Cliff Maloney. The concern about free speech on X has blown up in recent days as some people have seen their blue check marks taken away. Some people have been suspended. Some people have been demonetized on X, leading some to question about whether or not X is the free speech platform that Elon Musk claims. We're going to talk to her this morning about, we're going to speak to Cliff Maloney this morning about that story. But we still have a few more minutes to go. CO Day really enjoyed the chat with ChatGPT. Maybe we'll have her back. As a matter of fact, I want to ask her about a couple more libertarian ethical dilemmas and see what she thinks about those. But if you're enjoying the Wake Up America show this morning live from my shoe closet, then please do click the like button and send us a Rumble rant. My favorite thing to do is when you go to forlibertyshop.com and you make a purchase at the store and help us to grow the For Liberty Network. So go to forlibertyshop.com this morning, guys. Get yourself a delicious bag of patriotic premium tea. If you go to forlibertyshop.com, that's the number 4, libertyshop.com, then you guys can see our patriotic For Liberty on sale now. Go to forlibertyshop.com. That's the number 4, libertyshop.com. Scroll down there. You'll see patriotic premium teas. If you just click right there, then it'll take you to our tea collection. Things like Mango Manifesto, Colonial Chai, Peach Republic, Jasmine Rising, Heritage Hibiscus, Eagle's Orchard, Apple, Boston Harbor Black. All of the standard classics are beautiful, designed by us over here at For Liberty Network. Gorgeous designs. Thank you very much. Brad Beckman made these beautiful labels for us. Gray's Revolt, Earl Grey, who Tamara, our good friend from Georgia, said that was the best Earl Grey tea she's ever had in her life. You can sign up for subscriptions and get a discount. You can get a one-time purchase for $17.76, and that's delivered. Go to and we also have bundles, and you save more. The more you buy, the more you save. Buy 2, save 5%. Buy 3, save 7%. Buy 5 or more, save 10%. And you're like, oh, those are huge discounts. Well, just FYI, the margins on coffee and tea are very low, but we sell it because it just helps us to grow. It's not like the big, huge money earner for us, but if it becomes a subscription for you guys, then you get a 20% discount at the shop. It creates that little trickle of revenue that we work towards every month of growing. So it helps the For Liberty Network. You get delicious tea and a beautiful package, and all your friends will be jealous when they see it sitting up on your counter. So go to forlibertyshop.com, get some delicious tea for liberty at forlibertyshop.com. Okay, guys? Great. How much time do we have? A couple more minutes left. All right, let's do a couple more ethical dilemmas with ChatGPT, and then we'll head off into the ether and go get Cliff. Okay, let's turn her back on. This next one. Hey, Sydney, it's me again. I want to talk to you about another dilemma that I'm about to approach with my guest, Cliff Maloney. He will be joining me in about 5 to 10 minutes here on the show. We are streaming live now, by the way, Sydney. I just want you to be aware. So this conversation is being recorded and streamed out to my audience. I would like to talk to you about the free speech dilemma that we face on the platform X. Elon Musk took over the platform ostensibly to make it a free speech battlefield, but many people in recent weeks have been demonetized or had their blue check marks removed. They say for violations of the community standards. However, many of the people who were demonetized or suppressed were saying critical things of Elon Musk. Is free speech on X in danger, would you say? Or do you adhere to a view that it's only a violation of free speech if the government is doing it and not a private platform? How do you feel about it?
Free speech on private platforms like X can indeed face challenges, especially when content moderation appears inconsistent. It's a complex issue. While private platforms have the right to set their own rules, the impact on public discourse can be significant. It's important for platforms to be transparent and consistent in their policies to maintain trust. How do you see this issue?
I'm really more interested in your opinions on this one. For example, many of the people who were demonetized are frequently some of the most hateful people on the app, always spreading toxic ideas, always being very combative, always being very hateful and disrespectful. However, free speech is meant to protect even speech that you despise. Are you a free speech absolutist, or do you think that there should be controls?
Free speech is essential, but it's also important to balance it with community standards to prevent harm. While protecting even unpopular speech is important, certain controls can help maintain a respectful environment. It's about finding a balance that allows for open dialogue without encouraging harmful behavior. What's your perspective on this?
I tend to be a free speech absolutist, but my view is that if you are in government, that's different from being a private citizen. And therefore, the laws that control what the government should do should be far stricter than what happens to individuals who own private property, such as Twitter. Elon Musk took Twitter off of the public market. It's not a publicly traded company like it was. And so he is privately holding the company. And I believe, therefore, that he should be allowed to manage the platform as he sees fit, because a violation of free speech, as I understand it, or a true violation of free speech, is that it's the government stepping on our freedom of speech. But many people say that the social networks are a public square. They say that this is the town square, and that the U.S. Constitution should govern these companies, and that they should be forced to adhere to foundational views like the U.S. Constitution. How do you feel about it?
Your perspective highlights an important distinction: government censorship versus content moderation by private companies. While platforms like X can be seen as modern public squares, they remain private entities with their own rules. Balancing free speech with responsible moderation is challenging, especially when platforms have a broad societal impact. It's a nuanced issue where private ownership and public responsibility intersect. How do you think platforms should navigate this balance?
You're not interviewing me. I'm interviewing you. I'm asking you questions. You're not asking me questions. Do you understand?
Got it. You're interviewing me. Please go ahead with your questions.
So answer my question. Do you think that it is a free speech issue on the social platforms, or is it a private property issue?
It's primarily a private property issue, since social platforms are privately owned and can set their own rules. However, the impact on free speech is significant given their role in public discourse. It's a nuanced balance between respecting property rights and ensuring open dialogue.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, that's ChatGPT. That's her opinion on things. We're going to say goodbye to her now. Thanks for tuning in to the live stream with us and letting me interview you today, Sydney. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk later.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day, and talk to you later.
There she goes. What do you guys think? Applause, applause, applause. You like it when I interview ChatGPT? We will probably do segments like that in the future around other issues, and hopefully the Wake Up America show will continue to thrive due to AI and not be killed or murdered by AI. I'm going to speak to Cliff Maloney. I'm building up the transition music, guys. So, since I don't have any sound effects or any music today, just imagine that it's slowly building this crescendo of music behind me as I prepare to tell you Cliff Maloney will be joining us next to talk about that, free speech on X. It's time to talk to a human about it and not an AI, although I did kind of like her answers. We'll be right back with a real human being, Cliff Maloney, not AI, on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed with love for liberty. So why compromise compromise your principles for a cup of coffee. Stand up for your values, perk up your patriotism, and start your day the American way. Get your founding flavors at apforlibertyshop.com.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services.
Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help.
Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot redheaded libertarians? then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Your take on the tech billionaire?
So when it comes to the tech billionaire, like I've already said, I think he's a social media knob with no social conscience. He has absolutely no social conscience. Someone like that should be in jail and the key be thrown away. That bloke should not have a right to be out there on his own ideology platform and creating hatred, showing all this stuff out there to our kids and doing all the rest. I'm very interested to watch what the US is going to do with TikTok and how far that they can do. We're trying to get rid of that platform as well. So I think we're all watching on the United States at the moment to see what they're doing. But seriously, if we can move, and if that means in the next sitting that we can shut him down from doing this, because this is...
You happy to kick them out? You kick the platform out?
I don't give a stuff about the platform. I'm happy to go off the platform today, to be honest.
That's Jackie Lambie, an Australian senator, who says Elon Musk has no right. He has no right to spread hate, they say, as he's doing. There's Aussies have really lost the concept. They've really lost the plot when it comes to freedom of speech. But has Elon lost the plot as well? He's getting attacked by a lot of people these days for suppressing, demonetizing, de-blue checking. Is it a free speech issue, or is it only when the government takes away your free speech? That's what ChatGPT just had to say in that interview. Let's speak to a real human. His name's Cliff Maloney. He's a real live human. Hey, you're not an AI Cliff Maloney, are you? Are you the real Cliff Maloney? And how would we know?
Well, I'm here in Pennsylvania. That should tell you enough. It's snowing outside, just like it is for you there in Missouri. Look, I still am just baffled at how people don't understand the right of free speech. And I almost feel like these people, it's almost comical. Like, is she really saying those words? And like, when you look at it, yes, she's a real person, right? She's saying those things. I don't, it worries me because I think there was some poll recently that showed you that, some 30 or 40% of young people think hate speech should be illegal. No, I don't like it. You don't have to endorse the speech, but you need to allow those things to be said. So I just think this whole, hey, we have to shut down Elon because of his ability to speak. I mean, I thought we were moving away from that, right? I thought this was the whole reset. But some of these people, they're just digging in their heels, and this is the next level of holier than thou. They're right, everyone else is wrong, and we only can allow the things that they deem to be right or correct. And it's just a slippery slope. It's a pretty bad thing.
Yeah, a lot of people on the right are mad at Elon. They're saying that by not allowing these people on his platform, they say that they're criticizing him because of the H-1B visa fight and everything that happened online. And, he's said a few things about Nigel Farage that's got a lot of the MAGA guys kind of mad these days. I mean, he doesn't owe Donald Trump anything. In fact, Donald Trump and MAGA, we kind of owe a lot to Elon Musk in a sense. I see a lot of people are like, maybe take it easy on the guy. But how do you feel about the whole free speech on a platform versus free speech when government does it? I mean, noting that at least before Elon, many of these platforms were collaborating with government. How do you sort of suss this out?
Well, I think, one, you have to make a decision, right? What is Elon trying to build? And not just Elon, but any of these platforms, right? Is anybody really trying to put out a platform that is 100% pro-free speech? Do we want porn on these platforms? Do we want people to be able, to post some of the most radical things? Do we think that, murders should be posted? I'm not taking a position, right? But that's what I think all the viewers and listeners out there need to think about is, these are decisions that have to be made, right? And by the way, it is a decision, right? If you decide to allow certain things and then you open yourself up for lawsuits, right? This is why corporate America, and once again, I think we're coming to a reset, but this is why corporate America, there are tons of decisions that need to be made. And people don't understand. It's the attorneys, stupid, right? It's the attorneys that come in and that will push you on, hey, you need this policy in place. Hey, we need to set this up. If you don't, this person will take action against you in court. And it all comes down to money, right? Do I agree that Elon should have the ability, and is it legal for him to do what he did? Absolutely. Do I think that it's once again, a slippery slope that he's going to now decide certain check marks versus not? But that's the decisions you have to make when you own a company. I'm right there with you, Austin. This has nothing to do with government, right? There is no right to free speech on these platforms. Now, people argue, the whole debate we had, I guess it was probably a year, 2 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. We're all getting old. About some of these platforms having immunity, right? And does that kind of bring it into the government realm? And that's a debate to have. But my opinion is, yes, these platforms should be able to do whatever the heck they want to do. No, they should not have immunity. And I do think, users should pick the platform that gives the most respect to open dialogue, open discussion. And right now, that is 100% X. It's absolutely Rumble when it comes to the video space. And I think our dollars should follow, and we should incentivize by acting on those platforms that are the best for free speech.
Yeah. So, we're having this conversation about globalism here, right? And this conversation of not intervening in the affairs of other countries, right? But in that sense, I do think we're talking about the government, but a lot of people on the right are concerned about Elon Musk being a globalist. In some ways, he's interfering in the politics of the United Kingdom. And I guess my question to you is, Cliff, how far do you think we should be allowed to kind of go as a private citizen to interfere as private citizens in other countries' elections, quote unquote, if you will, right? So it's obviously if my speech were to be powerful, or if I had the means to help people wake up in North Korea, if the Wake Up America show was legal in North Korea, would I stream to North Korea hey, you guys need to overthrow your dictator. Hey, here's the Constitution of the United States. Here's our Declaration of Independence. Here's your model. Go for it. Is that globalism? Is that election interference? kind of, but I should have every right to help using my speech to free other people overseas. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, and I think that we now have a digital world, where there are going to have to be new rules. There's going to have to be a new understanding, right? And some of these countries are going to have to figure that out, just like we do, right? Remember, there was Russia interference apparently in the 2016 election. That was the whole reason that Donald Trump won, or at least that's what I was told for 2 years. But I do think there are going to have to be certain rules put in place. Now, listen, when Elon said on X, and he asked the question, should the U.S. liberate, I guess it was Great Britain, is what the poll was. Look, I would hope that Elon means that in terms of, through speech and through pressure and through, propaganda, good propaganda, if you will, not with our young men and women taking to the streets. And so I do think that, a lot of us in the peace camp don't like seeing something like that and assuming what the neocons mean by that, which is that we are then, literally reining in and sending our people to be over there and to man the streets. No, if we're talking about, hey, we're trying to lead, and look, I love Nigel Farage. He's a friend. I don't know what the beef is between him and Elon or this or that. Nigel has built, he said to me once, and I guess this can be public, we were backstage at an event where I had him speak, and he told me, he said, Cliff, do you know who inspired me to understand that people care about just totally reforming these institutions? I said, what are you talking about? He said, Ron Paul's 2012 campaign. This is Nigel Farage telling me this. He said, Ron Paul's 2012 campaign taught me, it's happening. Taught me, not me, but this is what Nigel said, taught me that you can take these very wonky issues like the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
And as long as you can make it, he didn't say the word populist, but he said, as long as you can make it about taking that issue and showcasing that the institution is against the working class, the institution is making it harder, not easier for blue collar folks. He said, that is how you lead a movement. And Ron taught him that. And they now outrank the Conservative Party. They have more seats and more influence. It's just, that doesn't happen. So I think there's a lot going on over there. I think that as long as Elon's talking about liberating with ideas, I'm on board. But I think him and Nigel probably need to have a cup of coffee and sit down.
Yeah, I agree. It's time for us to come together. We got to stop this infighting. It's like we left the Libertarian Party. Or I left the Libertarian Party so I could build something that's a little bit more collegiate, right? But it seemed like the more libertarians that have taken over in the Republican Party, the more we've sort of brought our level of infighting of absolute hatred. It's like that Simpsons meme where it's like that. Was it the Scottish janitor is like, "Oh, libertarians, they've ruined libertarianism." Like, "Oh, you've made an enemy for life." If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm Austin Peterson, streaming live from our shoe closet here at 4 Liberty Farms because I can't get out of my house. And our good buddy Cliff Maloney is probably in warmer climes today. It's Pennsylvania, so you're probably getting a little bit of weather up there.
There's a half a foot of snow on the ground here in PA.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's right. I thought you might have been in your Las Vegas abode, so you would have been safe out there. But no, I'm glad that you're out there, Cliff. I mean, gosh, dang it, man! Careers and the future is being shaped in Pennsylvania today with what you have done as the avatar or the face and the driving force, the spearhead, if you will, of the Pennsylvania chase. Hugely successful. You made a huge name for yourself. You've been photographed with Elon Musk in recent weeks. And Javier Milei, I mean, like, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I loved seeing it. So many people counted you out, Cliff. Man, people, speaking of like libertarians, like so many people tried to bring you down, and then you just come like roaring back and show them all up, show them how to really make liberty win. And I'm just so excited for the future because like the revolution continues. It really does, doesn't it, Cliff?
One, thank you, Austin. You've been with me the whole time when a lot of the naysayers would enjoy to just dunk and have a good time. The revolution continues. Austin, we have Ron Paul advising the Department of Government Efficiency. If that isn't, I try to tell some of these libertarians, I'm like, if this isn't the moment, even now, you didn't have to get involved during the election. Even now, you can hop on board, folks, right? Let me say this one more time for all the libertarians listening. Ron Paul, Dr. Ron Paul is advising the Department of Government Efficiency. If this is not the time to get involved, I don't know when it is. You know, I know you've made fun of me on the show, Austin. People say, what's the pipeline from Ron Paul Libertarian to America First? There isn't a pipeline. We are now all on the same team, right? Now, if I had to answer, I would say my typical answer, which might get you demonetized, which is when they came and said they're going to chop off the private parts of our kids, I think it's time for some of us to put down the beer and pick up the sword and get in the fight. But no, I think this is the moment. This is the moment for every libertarian to realize, like, we're fighting the battle. If you're wondering where the battle is, it's here. So get involved now. Folks can join us at pachase.com. I'm on X at Maloney. We're going to relaunch PA Chase this week. And you know, it's just, I think that this is an opportunity. I hope I'm not too optimistic about this Department of Government Efficiency, because to me, Austin, that will be the battle. I've said it on your show before. I'll say it again. It will be Doge versus the swamp. The people that you think are going to be on the side of Doge need to be monitored. The people that you think are going to be on the side of the swamp, there's potential to pull some over. But politicians disappoint. And so any activists out there, anyone who wants to reform government, this is going to be the battle. And you're going to have to hold your federal elected officials accountable. Are they with Doge or are they with the swamp? And that's how simple and that's how direct we have to make it.
It's kind of amazing to see how the Ron Paul revolution has morphed over the years and in some ways submerged with MAGA. You know, we've got guys like you, guys like me. You know, I became a Donald Trump delegate this year in my state, and I got to help shape the Republican Party here in my state. So I've been, you know, working on the local level to try and impact what's happening here in Missouri as well as across the country. And to see what you were doing out there in Pennsylvania was just so inspiring, man. And I really think 2025 is going to be the best year ever And I've been terrible at making predictions in the past, but I will say that I think there's going to be some incredible things happening. Is there anything like? Do you feel the same way? And then two, is there anything in particular that you can point to as sort of the bright spots of 2025 that we can kind of like hang our hats on? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the first 100 days are much more important than people think. I don't mean that to be someone who's expecting to be let down, but actually I do. That's exactly what I mean. I expect to be let down.
Same.
I think 2025, I think there's tons of potential. I just think that this whole battle and look, I think what are things that don't involve Congress is probably where people should be optimistic. I think we're going to see an end to the war in Ukraine with Russia. I do think that we're going to see an end to the war in, just with Israel. I think a lot of those wars are going to come to an end because Trump can pick up the phone. And it's his instinct. His instinct is to be anti-war. As he says, I want to stop the dying. No more dying. Which, even I try to tell a lot of people, even the old anti-war left, for those that still exist, like that is a great instinct. We're not used to having somebody that can stand up to the generals and stand up to the military industrial complex and have that instinct. So yes, I think on foreign policy, we're going to see some huge wins. I think when it comes to energy, when it comes to some of the regulations, I think we'll see tremendous wins because that's not going to involve Congress. I mean, sometimes we want there to be a process, but other times if these things are happening, that's great. I think we're going to be disappointed, Austin, is spending. I think that is going to be the battle with look, if Doge comes out and says, hey, Elon and Vivek are like, look, we want to cut spending 5% across the board. We want to get rid of these 5 departments. And we want to, get rid of 30% of the federal staff. That'll be World War III for the swamp.
Yeah.
And I just think, once again, I hope they can push that through. But my advice to them is to keep it as simple as possible. Keep the swamp is very good at making things gray area, right? The more it can be black and white, you're either with us or you're against us. If they can do that with one bill or a couple bills that are clearly the Doge priority bills, it's going to take all of us holding our folks accountable. But I do think that's going to be the real task is, if they try to hit us with a different bill every other week, it's like, okay, well, there's not as much firepower behind that. And so I just think they keep it simple. They put these folks on the record that say that they're MAGA and that they're, pro-Trump. And you've got a lot of those folks in Missouri, I got to be honest with you. I'm intrigued to see where they fall. Okay, you've got some really solid folks in terms of people in the House, Eric Burleson, some of these other folks in Missouri. But there's a lot of people that claim to be pro-Trump, pro-liberty. I don't think they're going to vote with Doge. I think they're going to vote with the swamp.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm wrong.
Yep.
But it's up to all of us to hold them accountable, to pressure them, not just after the vote, but before the vote, during the vote, and then folloh up.
And
that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, and they need to get off Thomas Massey's ass.
Yes, correct. I just always say the same thing. Go to the voting record, right?
Yeah.
If every battle between the swamp and the blue collar folks that believe in liberty, you're on the swamp side, hold your breath when you want to go after Thomas Massey because he's been on the right side of every one of those battles.
Exactly. Yes. If I had an applause button here at my house, I would be clicking that button, and you would have a fake applause that would be going out loud for Cliff Maloney. Maloney, anything else you want to share or say or express or plug before we go?
As much as I want people to focus on Doge, everyone on this should run for state house. I will continue to say that. I think it was proven in 2020 when the feds needed somebody to push back on them, when we learned who certifies the elections. But who is your state rep is the question you should be asking. Do they support liberty? And if they do not, either you or someone else, it is your duty to primary their ass, especially if you're in a red seat. That is going to be my consistent 2025 message to the AP for Liberty Wake Up America show.
Okay, you better not put too much pressure on me, Cliff. I earn a mulligan on this one. I have run for office already a couple of times, and people are just starting to like me again and not hate my guts. So I would like to.
Give it a year.
It's not my year. It's not my year. Have a good one, Cliff. Thanks so much. And hey, what are you gonna do when you dig out there in Pennsylvania?
We're relaunching the PA Chase this week. I'll be on Timcast tomorrow night talking about it. But no, just we're doubling down. We got to build a red wall. We want to make Pennsylvania the red wall that makes it so that Democrats cannot win a national election. But of course, Austin, I'm only going to do that on liberty fights and liberty battles that we need to win. Got to stay principled.
There you go. That's right. You got to fight the good fight, but you got to fight the fight that you can win. Thanks, Cliff Maloney. Have a good one, man. We'll see you real soon. All right.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
We should be, in my view, repealing something called Section 230, which gave, platforms on the internet immunity because they were thought to be just pass-throughs, that they shouldn't be judged for the content that is posted. But we now know that that was an overly simple view, that if the platforms, whether it's Facebook or Twitter X or Instagram or TikTok, whatever they are, if they don't moderate and monitor the content, we lose total control. And it's not just the social and psychological effects, it's real harm. We should be, in my...
There it is. Yes, it's real harm. All right, so the outro music, the sad music, has begun. Oh, sad. So the time for the show to go. It's 9 a.m. I can't believe we actually got through it with this rural internet out here. It's pretty slow, guys, but I managed to, get the settings ready, and I managed to, in the 2 hours before the show this morning, I managed to throw this all together and give you at least some decent graphics and be able to give you a guess. So we did a cool interview with ChatGPT. I think today was a really fun show. Don't you? I'll hit the applause that agrees with me. If you enjoyed it, make sure that you click the like button, and we will be back tomorrow morning in studio or not, depending on how the internet is out here, again, in very rural Missouri. If I can get out of my house today or tomorrow morning, then I will do it, and we can continue with our sound effects and our music. I do want to ask you guys, before you leave, please do exit through the Grift Shop, and that's not an idle request to ask you guys to visit, because I think for many people, you might have just gone to the website, maybe clicked on a couple of things and then moved around. But what I'd like to ask for you today is to really visit the shop and take a look into the some of the deeper items that we have. You might say, oh, well, the coffee's not right for me, or the tea is not right for me, but dang, those We the People earrings, I gotta have them. So go to forlibertyshop.com. Where else, anywhere in the world, are you going to be able to get a Killdozer pillow? A pillow that you could put your head in sleep. Sometimes reasonable men must take an unreasonable nap. So get your Killdozer pillow. Don't tread on me earrings, Donald Trump earrings. Our number one selling product in 2024 last year was the Jeffersonian Java. People love it. You can get it delivered to your door at that, or do me a favor, subscribe. Get those monthly subscriptions to your door of our delicious Jeffersonian Java coffee at Founding Flavors. You're not just drinking coffee, you're helping to fund a movement. Me and the whole ForLibertyNetwork.com crew. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. And I will be seeing you here by hook or by crook, sunshine, snow, rain, or ice. Tomorrow morning, we will be together right here at Rumble on the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network. See you guys tomorrow morning. Thanks a lot.